Hey everyone, Once Bitten here. So this is game two of the three-game gaming night that I had a week ago. I think we're both using the same list this game. The deployment is that kind of like, I forgot what it's called. It's as if we're marching in a line, and once you start deploying units, you have to put the other one to the, I guess, right of it, or something like that. And the scenario objectives in this is you want to get scoring units into your opponent's deployment zone. So with that, now in game one, my opponent beat me, and so now I'm feeling like I've got to even this out just a little bit. All right, so let's see. Start on his right. He's got his unit of Ghasts with that large vampire in with him. Two Varkolaks behind him, and then his two big units of ghouls behind them. You can see two units of Wraiths, and then there's his bunker with his Necromancer, and then he's got his other Varkolak over here. On my left, threw down some Gargoyles, and then my two Giants. That's because these Giants vanguard, so my initial thinking was to make my opponent think I was going central and then throw my stuff to the right, because the Gargoyles can fly really far, the Giants can vanguard and then can move and just bring everything up on my right, and to where his big infantry blocks are kind of blocking each other. That was kind of my idea anyway. Let's see. I've got my BSB and then my spellcasters on chariots. I've got gargoyles in front of them, my Mino Lord in the woods right there, and then my two Gortachs. And of course, I have 4 units of ambushing Wildhorns. I've since learned that you can only have 2 units that are ambushing. So yeah, I cheated unwittingly. So after vanguards, at this point I kind of changed my tactic, and I put my Giants. I kind of had this idea that I could put them up there using the hill to where my opponent can't really see me, but I can see his units, something like that. Varkolak's over here. He's really swinging out far to the right, and I see what he's doing. I mean, those guys they're really mobile. He's going to swing out here. I think I'm only willing to invest so much to keep them back. Otherwise, I'm just going to try to just put a Gortach there to take whatever they have to offer. There's that picture again. We go to Beast's turn 1. So for the most part, you see I swung my Giants to the right, and then I just put my Battle Standard Bearer to the left. For that Varkolak wants to come up, he's got to risk getting charged by my BSB. That BSB is, I kind of like the kit. He's just really resilient with the 1-up rerollable armor save. So he's not really too awful worried about the Varkolak. I mean, he would have basically a 4-up rerollable. I mean, it's not going to last forever with him. But I pose a little bit of a threat, and I'm hoping that's just enough just to kind of keep him away. Otherwise, you can see everything is like that. Nothing of significance really happened after that. We go to Vampires. Turn 1, look, his Varkolaks are just off the picture to the right, pretty much, swinging way out far wide. So now my thinking is, well, maybe I just kind of ignore them for a little bit and see if I can mop up that unit with the Ghasts and the Vampire before the Varkolaks can come in and support it. So he takes a Varkolak on my left, swings him all the way on the other side of this impassable terrain, and he wanted to where he could see me, and he positioned himself so, because we were talking about it, he wanted to be able to see my my lines, and neither one of us thought about it, but it doesn't make sense because the way he's positioned, even if he wanted to charge me, he couldn't charge around the impassable. Which, to be honest, I would just let him pivot and then let him do it. But it was kind of funny. It's like neither one of us were thinking about that. There's his flank on the right, and nothing of significance happens. So we go to Beast turn 2, and so the big development was I took my Mino Warlord and just threw him at the Ghast unit, and then I took my Gortachs and brought them and the Giants and everybody into the middle. And then you look at my Chariots. Now I have my BSB on the left going up. He's actually the front man. He's the easiest one to charge by a unit of ghouls. And I think if they charge him, then we all just stick, and then I countercharge with like 2 or 3 monsters. And then on the right, I'm using my spellcaster to do the same thing with the Varkolaks over there. I'm just facing them, just saying, look, if you want to come up, I'll risk that dangerous terrain with the fence, and I'm going to charge you, and let's see how it goes. My spellcaster is moderately survivable as well. So for the most part, I want to get my ambushing units into his deployment zone, but I just really wasn't worried about it. I had plenty of time, so I ambushed this unit on my back line, and they step on, and they're just going to throw their throwing weapons at this Varkolak, just to be a pain in his side. Because if he wants to deal with them, he's got to basically just stay somewhere near there. In which case, I can just pivot or do whatever and shoot at him. And then if he charges me, I'm just going to shoot at him again. And by the time we're done, he'll probably win, but he'll have a couple 2-3 wounds on him maybe. And it's just the whole thought of that just cracks me up. This one, I like my matchup. I mean, I think if he feeds me a champion, I'm just going to kill the champion. And I think when we get in with this vampire, that's going to be a fight. But I think I got it. Maybe I have too much confidence in this Warlord. Now, I think what we're doing here is green dice refer to buffs, and I don't remember what buffs my opponent has on him, or to be honest, what I have on me. But yeah, it's that. He's got 3 wounds remaining, so my guess is I did 1 wound to him. He did no wounds to me. And I have a charge and a wound. He's got a rank, blah, blah, blah. We just stick around. We go to shooting over here, and sure enough, they put a wound on this guy. So it's my guess is he's not going to deal with him. He's just going to walk away, but he's going to walk away having taken a wound, and then my guys can just start walking up towards my opponent's deployment zone. We go to Vampire's turn 2. If you look on the far left, his Wraiths, I don't think they charge my Gargoyles. No, I don't think they charge. I think they just walked up and maybe hoping to get close to him so they can maybe do some damage to him. I don't know, something like that. Otherwise, you can see he took his Varkolak around the impassable terrain to come threaten my flank. His Varkolaks have done a great job of surrounding me, and really my hope now is just to not be where they think I'm going to be. So just to move out. I'm not sure it's going to work the way I intended, but that's kind of what I was thinking. Now the good news over here, if I want, I can charge one with my spellcaster. I've already put a wound on him using some kind of spell, I forget. And then I have my Gargoyles. I can redirect both of them with my Gargoyles and just buy me more time. And we go over here, and again, we both have some kind of buff up. I think he did no wounds to me. I did no wounds to him, and we just stick around. We go to Beastie's turn 3, and now stuff's going to get real. If you look at the far right, took both Gortachs into the Ghasts unit, so very confident how that's going to work out. I park my Gargoyles in front of his 2 Varkolaks on the right so that he's not going to have an immediate countercharge. I decided not to charge with my spellcaster because I'll probably do more wounds. Just shooting magic missiles at him, or whatever it is that he has. My Giants on the left are in kind of a weird spot because I actually don't like the matchup. I mean, Giants are wonderful against infantry, but ghouls have so much poison. I think I charged with my Chariot and just failed the charge, and so I'm just kind of sitting there, and I didn't want to take my Giants in solo. So I parked my Gargoyles in front of the Varkolak on the left so that he couldn't charge my Battle Standard Bearer, and then I just turned another Giant to face him. I think my opponent's confident that Varkolaks will beat a Giant, and I'm still under this delusion that Giants will win. I think my opponent's right after having played a few games. There's that. And if this is against the rule or if it's cheesy, please let me know. But I positioned my Minotaur Warlord directly in the middle where I had to maximize model when he charged in. So when my Gortachs charged in, I didn't put him in the corner. I mean, I figured my opponent is already maximized, so I put them out just a little bit to where basically his middle rank of dudes can't fight, because my Warlord is fighting his Vampire, which is on the left, and neither of my Gortachs are touching that middle file. So if I did that wrong, please let me know, because I don't want to be that way. Another ambushing unit came on, so I just stuck him in this corner. I just need to be in his deployment zone. I don't really need their help fighting. These guys suck at fighting anyway, so just put him back there. Other one came on over here. If he turns his Wraiths' attention towards him, they're not going to last long, but as it is now, they can threaten a rear charge into his general's unit. And yeah, I don't know what's going on over here. Yeah, after combat, that did not go well for the Ghasts. They just completely wrecked face, and there wasn't a whole lot I could do. I think my initial thought was to overrun with my, at least with the Warlord, and just kind of maybe circle around his back, and then I just decided to just turn around with him. Sorry for the blurry picture. Vampires turn 3. You can look at the far right. His Varkolak are taking care of my chaff. On the left, the Varkolak is taking care of the chaff. I don't know if he just sat there or if he tried to charge and failed, but you can see he didn't really move much. There's that. I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win this one pretty easily. These guys move up, touch the Chariot, back off, and do a couple wounds in the process, so that's not ideal. And then after combat, this looks like the Varkolak has 5 wounds remaining. I wonder if he... that might just be a mistake. Maybe that dice might be turned. I think he still just has 3 wounds remaining, because I think he starts with 4. Anyway, he kills the Gargoyles and overruns, as you can see him there. And of course, these guys kill the Gargoyles, and then they just stand there. And we go to Beast turn 4. So on the right, I take my Gortach and park him in front of his Varkolak, and I'm like, you're not going to charge anything. If you want to charge the Gortachs and see what happens, or we can just dance around each other. If you look on the left, I went ahead and took a Giant into his Varkolak, took my BSB into a unit of ghouls, another unit of ambushing Wildhorns came on, and then my Minotaur Warlord swooped up behind a unit of ghouls. I really would rather get him in with his general's unit, but either way. There's that. This guy, I don't know how it's going to be if he charges the other unit into his flank, but one-on-one like this with a 1-up rerollable, I'm pretty confident I'm going to stick around for a while. Yeah, so there's that. Let's see, I think I started with 2 wounds, so after combat I took no wounds. I have some buff up, and I think the buff I have up is made myself distracting, or some defensive spell like that. And we go to Vampires turn 4. So yeah, neither Varkolak decided to charge on the right. On the left, if you look after combat, the Giant and the Varkolak were both still around, and so he charged his Wraiths into the flank of my Giant. Interesting call there, because I'm thinking they'll probably kill the Giant, but that does give the Giant a chance to do his big stomp on them, and even he does so many that even saving 2/3 of them, I might be able to combat res those units off the table. Maybe. If you look at my Battle Standard Bearer, he charged him in the flank with the ghouls. That's just... I know I have a 1-up rerollable, but that is a lot of attacks. And over here he took a unit of Wraiths, and he's just kind of moving back, causing damage, hoping to cause me to fail a panic test. I don't really care. Matter of fact, if those Wraiths aren't doing anything more than this, I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, so there's that. And this Varkolak, he pulled away from my Gortachs and is going after this unit, and that's a good call, because that's like, dang it, this is the unit that I know for a fact will be there to get me the scenario objectives, and but not with this guy. So after combat, yeah, the Giant just wreaked havoc on this unit of Wraiths. I shouldn't say that. He did enough damage that even though they saved 2/3 of them, he still did enough wounds that just popped everybody. And now I've just got these 2 to deal with. So I was very, very happy with how that turned out. Over here, same thing. I still haven't taken a wound. And he's just piling on, just trying to throw as many poison attacks as possible on me. Now, if you look at above that, we are positioned... It doesn't look like it from this angle at all. That's really weird. When I went to play it next turn, basically the Minotaur Warlord could charge in front of that unit of Wildhorns, and the unit of Wildhorns could then crisscross and charge the ghouls. Yeah, it didn't work out anyway, but yeah, when I look at this angle, it looks like that wasn't going to happen anyway. Anyway, Beast turn 5. So I take 1 Gortach on the far upper right. He's going to go try to save that unit of Gore. Otherwise, I take the other Gortach, put him right behind his Varkolak. Just sandwiching them between them. We're not fighting there either. They're just kind of everybody's threatening each other. Um, yeah, so there's that. There's that. I don't know if he can pivot and get out of there or not. I know you can get within half an inch. I don't know. Not sure. And with this, because I thought it was a legal charge, I charged with the Mino Warlord first. He needed a 3, and he failed it. He rolled snake eyes, or he needed a 4 and rolled a 3, something like that. And so he just stumbled forward, and now he's just totally useless. Darn it. Yeah, and then the unit of Wildhorns that a long time ago put a wound on the Varkolak, they've been marching up the field ever since, and they made a long ball charge into this unit into the general's unit, and it looks like there's a hill in the way, but they could see his front left guy, or on the way I'm looking at him, the rightmost guy in the front, and charging the flank. Of course, they get swift stride. They made a long ball charge and got all the way up there. So that was nice. We go to VC turn 5. Overall, looks like that. He makes this long charge. I passed my terror test, which was nice, and now I know he's going to win. I just need to pass my steadfast test. He decides to go ahead and charge this giant. He knows he can't kill him. I've got 8 wounds, for crying out loud. So, yeah, I think it's just I just don't remember. It could be they thought he couldn't get out of that bind. Over here, he keeps on sweeping through my guys, and I keep on passing my panic test. I don't know what happened here. I assume some kind of magic missile or something. He kills my giant, and I pass my steadfast. And then over here, he does 4 wounds to my giant, but I've got 8, so I end up doing 2 wounds back to him. Again, I think they start at 4. We go to beast turn 6, and yeah, now things are just starting to clear up a little bit. Let's see. Gortach makes this. Yeah, that Varkolak had his chance. He missed it. Now he's going to die. This Varkolak never had a chance to kill the giant. I think this time he's hoping to maybe finish the giant off, or he might have gone after my spellcaster. I threw him in there just because why not? Let's get some impact hits. And then yeah, his general's unit popped, and then I pivoted, and then so my turn, I charged these wraiths front and back. Mopped up the Varkolak, mopped up this Varkolak, mopped up the Wraiths, and the only thing left, he's got these units of ghouls that finally killed my battle standard bearer. I think they broke him from combat. I don't think they ever killed him through wounds. They just broke him from combat and caught him and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, the beast got some revenge. Yeah, we're still learning the new rules and our army lists and stuff like that. But I think I can't speak for my opponent. I felt this game I at least played a little better than last game. Still not playing well yet. It'll take me a bit. But anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it.